rainy day today, so can't take the car out for a drive. Might as well find something productive to do. So today, I'm going to have a look at the problem of cup holders in the MG. Let me show you about what the problem is that we're having. All right, so the problem here is the space that you need for a cup holder in this particular vehicle. It's really compacted. There's not a lot of room to run through the gears and then still have a cup holder. This is the extruded plastic solution that you can buy on Moss. It has some inherent problems of its own. First of all, there's not a little groove right here, so when you buy it stock, it kind of moves around. So when you accelerate and when you stop, it moves around, makes a lot of racket. So if you don't have a cup in there, there's nothing to weigh it down. Even when you do it, still it moves around. So there's some issues with that. So you have to make a little adjustment, put a notch in it at the very least, so that it will jam itself between this area and this little knot right here. Not a perfect solution. I mean, I'm sure you could glue it, but in that we were going to use this solution, we didn't put the wood grain on this flat surface, which we have the material for that. But it would look better for us not to have this ugly piece of plastic in there. Not to judge, it's a great solution. It's very easy, very cost effective, but you can't use third gear. So as long as you can drive between first, second, and fourth, then you're fine, but you just can't use third gear and still have a cup in there. So this is not really a viable solution from my perspective. So I was having a chat with my wife on this, and we decided, she said, well, just take a cup with you in there and see where it fits in space. And so with her sitting here, I'm imagining, there's a space where she's going to want to have her knees and everything, and I have to be able to move my feet to pound the clutch and do stuff. So this knee is kind of out of it. There's not a lot of room between the doors, so you really can't put it on the door. And even that, it makes it hard to get in and out of the car. You'll probably end up snagging on it and breaking it. You can't put it down here because that takes away from their space. But when you're moving around in here, that's kind of where it goes. This is where a cup needs to be. And maybe you can put it here, because that you can probably put two cups tandem side by side like this. If you have a cup right here, it won't interact with the emergency brake. But you can put two cups, one here, one right here, along this edge right here. This is the only space where you can put that. So with that in mind, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to craft a cup holder that hangs onto this little ledge right here. To keep it from sliding back and forth, I'm going to have it drag or interact with the carpet. And this is the profile that I intend on using. It'll slide right in there. It's not going to be this long, but there will be a round cylinder on here that will hold the cup, and then this little groove will grab this edge right here, and you can have two of them. I'm going to make them separate so that you can slide them around, and heck, you could even put it over on this side if you wanted to get a third cup, but your knee's going to bump on that, so you'll have to be aware. But that's the solution that I think that I'm going to work on today. I'm going to make a model and 3D print a cup holder that will allow me to use this space. And what that does is it clears up this area for me to put the wood grain on. And I think that overall the solution will be better looking, more utilitarian, and you can take it off and put it in the glove box if you want, if you're not using it. So this is just a profile. It's going to be a three-dimensional object that will interact with this little groove. So let's go ahead and get started on that and mock this up in Onshape online, and then see if we can do a really rough 3D print of this as an example for this video. All right, so here's my model in Onshape. You can see Onshape is the online 3D modeling software that I use. You can see I've got the smaller section that will go into the center console, and this part drags down and will interact with the carpeting right down here. I measured the circumference based on that cup that I was playing with. It has a taper, so if you can see right there, it tapers down to the center, and I did not make the bottom hole. I wanted to have some slots so that for sweat and things like that, when cold beverages condense, that sweat will not make a puddle inside the cup holder here. It'll just go down onto the carpet, which is fine with me. So this is kind of how this model is going to work. It's kind of tricky to print this out because you can't lay it on its side. You have to lay it on its end. So you have to, whoops, getting kind of crazy here. You have to lay it on its end so that it'll print and leave the top. You want the very top surface to be one concentric circle at the top. And so if you look on the slicer that I use, let me go to preview on this. You can see that it had to create support trees. There's little supports that have to grow so that you can support the material. Let me zoom in on it here. You can see all these. They make little trees so that it doesn't, it speeds up the production and you don't have to use up too much material. But these all go in a, if you can see here, in a rhythm. If you go from the top to the bottom, it shows you, basically how it's going to print. This is the last row up here at the top. And anyway, it makes a plan for making the rows. And we want the rows to stack vertically on the model. So anyway, this is already in the printer. And 8 hours from now, we'll have our first mock-up, or 7 hours and 35 minutes. So once we get that together, then we'll be able to know whether we can print more of these or if we have to make some adjustments in these measurements down here. So off to print, and we'll see how long it takes. Still raining. Let's check in on that print job. Here you can see my Ender 3 busy working, building trees. Those little trees will grow up from the bottom and hold the suspended surfaces that don't touch. You see the center where it has a little X right there? That's the one piece that goes all the way to the bottom. That's the piece that will interact with the carpeting. So we'll come back and check on this in a little while, and then we'll give it a look and see if it fits right. Time marches on. Still going. This is an hour and a half later. It looks like it's gotten to the top of the tree, and it's starting to fill in the first layer of the bottom, the first layer of the top of that bottom section. So that's how the trees work. They make a little crosshatch pattern, and then they'll make a solid gap to bridge it. You see it's already done the one in the middle there, and then it will fill in all the rest of the little gaps. Alright, this says that we're, 25% done? Yep. Alright, so we'll check back in a little while later, see how it's coming. Alright, there you go. There's the flat bottom, and it's transitioning to the rim. It's going to start doing the vertical edge. It has a 10% fill, that's why you see this crosshatch in the middle. But the outside is, it runs really slow around the outside to give a finished edge. It says that it is 33% done. Check back in. Alright, so there's the mock-up, the first iteration. You can see everything, it went to plan. but I think there's a couple issues. Whoops. So the idea here was to rely on this connection, and I don't think that that is really going to be practical, because A, it gets a little wobbly and it's going to slide back and forth. So I don't think that we can rely on this bite. There's not enough there. Second of all, I wanted to put this piece of wood or paneling in here, but I underestimated the thickness, and when you put it all down, there's a gap right in there, and I want this to set flat. Second of all, this void that I decided to put in here for simplicity and just to limit how much I was going to have to print became a liability, because now it doesn't have as much surface area for it to sit on. So I think on the next go here, we're going to go all the way around. We're going to make this complete, and I'm going to make it a little bit deeper. I'm going to make this circle all the way around, and I'm going to make it a little bit deeper so that it will it'll engage with this surface here. And while that's printing, I'm going to go ahead and mount this wood panel in here. This is a continuation of the kit that came with the wood dash kit, and that will be ready to receive the next prototype. But you know, very seldom do I ever get a prototype that works on the first time around. The measurements are right, and it does take a cup. Cup fits just great. You don't want the cup wiggling around in there, but you don't want the cup holder wiggling either. So ultimately, I think what we're going to end up doing is, you know, we'll make those improvements that I just was talking about, but I think we're going to end up having to put a piece of double-sided tape right here, so that it'll be firmly connected in there. I don't think I need to screw it in, because I don't want to mess with the plastic, but some double-sided tape will be enough for that right there. And we'll increase this surface area, maybe even put some double-sided tape on there too. But regardless, the geometry works. You can get through all your gears. You can manage all the controls. You can get to the charging station here. So I think the geometry works. It's a good place for it to be. I just need to make some improvements on this first mock-up. So the 8 hours that it took me to print this will be repeated tonight. And then we'll finish up the video tomorrow after we have what I hope to be the second round of corrections and the completed finished product. So that's kind of how it goes when you're 3D modeling. You don't always get it right the first time. And sometimes, even if you get it right, your assumptions were wrong. So you put it into practical use, and you make adjustments, and you go for different iterations. And that's where we're at on this. So moving forward. Well, there we go. Finished product. You see, I got the size right down here. It fits perfect. Nice and snug. Nothing's moving. Got a little bit of double-sided tape on the bottom side, and that will keep it from sliding back and forth and whatnot, but this right here supports the whole thing. And because I was able to get rid of that large cup holder that took up the entire area, we went ahead and put this wood grain dash covering in here, and it had a matching piece that goes up here in the front too. So there's a finished project. Looks pretty good, I think. Will fit a cup no problem. Right there, boom. That does not interact with any of the controls. It doesn't interfere with the passenger, and it doesn't interfere with the emergency brake. Everything's all good. And that's the video for today. If you have any questions, make sure you check them in the comments. If you like the content, make sure you subscribe. If you're interested in this cup holder or this solution at all, go ahead and put a message in the comments. I'll see if there's some way that we can get one of these for you as well. Thanks much. Have a good day.